So today we're here to talk about how to win that bidding war on the house of your dreams. Hi there, I'm Lisa Carroll.
And I'm Maria Nager. We're with Mahar & Associates, Tampa, Team TLC.
We're local realtors here in the Tampa Bay area, and this market is very busy and very crazy down here and across the United States. We know it is.
Yes.
So we just wanted to share some tips with you that might just help you win the offer when you're in one of those bidding wars.
Absolutely.
Tip number one is to get yourself pre-approved and not just pre-qualified, and best to use a local lender.
Yes, somebody that your agent or has a relationship with, because then you have great communication with that lender along the process, which is super helpful.
So definitely a pre-approval, not a pre-qualification, which means you've given all your documents to that lender, and that lender can get on the phone and vouch for you that you're good to go.
Absolutely. That's a big plus. Have your lender contact the listing agent.
Yeah, and your realtor will help you with that. But get yourself pre-approved, and if you're paying cash, get your proof of funds together, which means you need a statement showing your cash in hand to make the purchase.
Right.
So that's tip number one.
Tip number two is you really want to make it as desirable to the seller as possible. So we like to ask, what does the seller want or need? When are they looking to close? What's their motivation? Are they relocating out of state? Are they buying something that's new construction? Would they maybe want to do a lease back, or can we extend closing? Do we need to make a short closing? So knowing those things help make that offer super positive for the seller.
So your realtor should be asking the questions of the seller or the seller's agent.
Right.
What can we do to make our offer better? And if you're willing to bend a little bit to help the seller feel better, you're more likely to win in a bidding war.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Number three, cash is king. If you have any way at all that you can pay cash, pay it. You can always do a cash out refinance after the purchase to get your money back. So some people are actually cashing out 401ks or doing certain things to get the cash so that they can win the bidding war, because cash is king. We're seeing more cash out there than we've ever seen.
It's amazing.
So you're up against people that are paying cash and you're financing. They're likely to want to take a cash offer over financing just because it's one less hurdle.
Yeah, a lot less hurdles. We have, no inspection. But let me back up. Sorry, not an inspection. We don't typically have an appraisal contingency, and we would not have then a financing contingency. So cash is usually the best way to go.
And tip number four, Maria?
So 4 is going to be definitely offer more, because right now the way the market stands is we're at a starting price point. That's a suggested offer price.
Yeah, as opposed to offering less like we used to always do.
Yeah, typically the market would be in a balanced or average market. The seller would list the property at what they felt would be a good number value-wise, and then somebody would make an offer on that, typically less than the list price. However, in the market we are in now, that is kind of a suggested price. So you're going to want to consider it like an auction. You're going to want to make your best offer to win that house. So you're definitely going to want to go above asking at this point.
It's not a time to think about negotiating if you love the house. It's time to put your best foot forward and do whatever you're comfortable with, which leads to tip number 5. You can use an escalation clause in your offer. An escalation clause will state that you're willing to pay X amount, but you're willing to go up to X amount should the seller provide you proof that they have higher offers than yours. So it still gives you a cap and it protects your initial offer because they have to provide proof of the other offers, but it gives you the opportunity to beat out somebody if they've gone higher than you.
If they're close to you or they've gone higher, that gives us the opportunity to beat them out, even if it's just a little bit. And, in this market, that's what you have to do. You just have to know how to, pull all angles and make it work. So tip number 6 is you need to be dealing with an experienced agent at this point. They need to have the experience in knowing how to write the offer, how to suggest these things to you, because an experienced agent has been through this before, and this is what we know how to do best.
Yeah, there's a lot of realtors out that are not experienced and may not be able to navigate you through the process of making your offer as strong as humanly possible to win the bid.
And we're not judging anybody that's not experienced. It's just that when you want that house, and if you lose it because your agent did not know that they could use this tool, you're going to be rather frustrated.
Right. Yep. Tip number 7 is be flexible on your closing date if at all possible. Maria kind of mentioned it earlier, but if you can be flexible and meet what the seller needs, you're going to be in a much better position to win the bid. And offering that post-occupancy is becoming more and more standard these days because sellers want that. It's not really what buyers love, but if you're willing to close and let them stay for a week or two to move out, with protections in place, of course, for you, that could just help you win that bid.
So the next thing is going to be step number 8, and you do not want to offer anything with contingencies. No offer with contingencies. So what a contingency is, could be the contingency to sell your current home, even if it is under contract at the moment. Most sellers right now don't want to take that risk, so they're not going to accept that offer. Another contingency could be the inspection. Now, granted, a lot of people do like to do a home inspection, but if it's a newer home and you're willing to forego that, it may also help in making your offer a lot stronger. So with an appraisal, if the property does not appraise, the bank is only going to loan on the amount that the appraised value. However, you can come up with that extra money out of pocket. So for instance, if you offer $270 and the appraisal comes in at $260 and there's a $10,000 difference, you can say that the buyer is willing to pay that $10,000 difference up front or anywhere in that. That's, again, part of negotiation and making that offer palatable to the seller. And the last one then is going to be the financing contingency. Now, unfortunately, that's a catchy one because if the buyer just does not qualify, they will typically in a contract have a window or time frame that they have to respond and let the seller know. That way they would typically get back their escrow money. But if they're willing to waive the loan contingency, then that means that they're allowing the seller to keep that escrow if they cannot get the loan, and they would back out. So few different ones.
Yeah, and we have a really good story about that because we had a buyer that was just so desperate to get a home because they had lost a couple. So they went in on a $500,000 house at $540,000. They were putting 40% down. They waived the inspection. They waived the financing contingency, and they let the seller stay for 2 months for free after closing to win that bid. But I mean, they've used all these strategies because they really loved the home. They knew this was the home for them, and they got the deal.
And they weren't in a rush. I guess they had that flexibility.
So they're living in a motor home that they own.
Oh, an RV.
So they had an RV. They're still in it. They're waiting for the seller to go. And the seller needed the time because they were building new construction. So it was just something to do. So tip number 9 is put as much down as you possibly can in your offer with your escrow deposit and your financing. Both those things make your offer stronger and more appealing to a seller.
So when we say with your financing, if you're going conventional, a 20% or 30% down is stronger than a 5.
Correct.
Or 10%.
Yep.
So
and more money in escrow. Typically escrow would be $5,000 on a $500,000 house. 1%. We're looking at offers now coming in with much higher escrows just to make the offer more appealing. And it's just another way to stand out from the crowd.
Yep, definitely. And the last one is another good one that gets a lot of people, believe it or not, is by writing a letter and even sending pictures. So they want to see what's the next family that's going to be moving into this home, and you have the cute couple with their little baby and their puppy, and they write a heartfelt letter that they absolutely love this neighborhood. They've always wanted to live in this neighborhood. This is their absolute favorite house. It's their dream home. And they will do anything to have the seller accept their offer. And sometimes, believe it or not,
that works.
If it's in a competition and this offer is super close, but this one has a letter, they're like, oh,
I love them.
They're so sweet, honey. We like that couple. Let's sell it to them.
Yep, it works.
There you go. That's what gets you the offers in this crazy market.
10 tips for you. We hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. And we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers this year. Please subscribe to our channel. Click the little bell.
Give us a thumbs up.
Thumbs up would be awesome.
Thank you so much. And if you didn't know before, now you definitely know more on how to make an offer.
Ciao for now.